I'm David Abernathy, Mayor of the City of Pittsburg, and I want to wish all of you a happy 250th anniversary of the founding of our country. I have some questions that have been posed to me, and I'm going to read through the question and then try to give you my fair and open answer to that. The first question was, what does the 250 years of American history mean to you? And to me, it starts out with the birth of our nation. We've created a nation here that gave us our independence, our liberty, our self-governance, and our rights. Also out of that came a document, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, which we still enjoy today, and I'll talk more on that a little bit later. We also created democracy, and it's the envy of a lot of countries and people around the world, the democracy that we have that again has lasted all this 250 years. Also, it gave us a global role in developing our country, coming from a primarily agricultural economy to now a global superpower, and did all that in 250 years. The next question was, what aspect of American culture or history are you most proud of? And it has to go back to the founding fathers and male and female that helped develop this country. You just realize they were putting their lives on the line, just trying to separate from the British Empire, coming here for religious and independent freedom and gaining rights, independent rights from a monarchy. And in doing so, they literally every day put their lives on the line to help develop this country. And you have to give them credit. We would not be here enjoying this today had it not been for them. Those people that developed the Constitution and Bill of Rights, imagine a document that has survived all the trials and tribulations that have lasted for 250 years. It's incredible, the documents they put together, trying to give them themselves rights and religious freedom and other freedoms in their day-to-day lives. To put that together in something to survive all these 250 years with a few amendments attached to it, it's still remarkable to me. We also have the cultural and creative influences that the different walks of life, the different people, the different cultures that have come into this country that make this country up, have brought their little flares to it. You can go to different parts of the country and have different languages almost, different sayings, different slogans, and it's part of that melting pot, if you will, that gave us the uniqueness of our country. Also, the scientific and technology achievements that we've had, from building the first aircraft here to landing a man on the moon, the telephone, television, scientific breakthroughs where you eradicated some diseases, developing alternating current, which gives us our electricity that allows us to do things just like this presentation today. Those were all developments that started here and were fostered here, and many others that we built upon. And it all started, by the way, with Benjamin Franklin on the electricity. He was doing some studies. You've all heard the famous tales of the kite and the key, but that was it. Starting about electricity, how electric current works, and then it went from there. So all the way back to one of the founding fathers. And then we can have healthy debates in this country because our Constitution allows that, and so we can have your differences of opinion, and a lot of times democracy is all about compromises, and we live in a country that allows us to do that. The next question is, how do you think America has changed in the last 250 years? The 13 independent colonies really couldn't agree of how to form an alliance, if you will, but if you think about it, the first army was called a Continental Army. And so they formed together from those 13 original colonies, formed a continent, sharing resources to go to battle basically for their independence. And as a result of that, we formed a country that allows us to have a centralized federal government, but also 50 independent states and territories. We've expanded human rights dramatically. Some people literally devoted their entire lives to developing rights for people. And again, we're the envy of so many countries that just don't have that. We take that for granted in some places. They never will see it. We've gone from a rural agricultural commodity when the 13 colonies were in place to an industrial powerhouse in the Industrial Revolutionary days, and then in the days of, unfortunately, wars, World War I, World War II, saw an increase in industrialization as well as technological advances, and now we're a world leader in many fields. We also gained global power with that, and from that was military power, economic power, and cultural power. And we also take that for granted sometimes, in which we don't want to abuse that power, but handle it responsibly. The next question is, what are the hopes for America in the next 50 years? I feel like the continuation of a strong and stable democracy is very critical to that. As we grow and trends change, we still need to maintain that stable democracy. Leadership, science, and innovations. I hope that we're going to continue with spatial exploration. At some point, this country, this globe, this earth that we're on, as well as our sun, are going to deteriorate. And to keep civilization going, there's going to have to be space exploration to be able to go to different places in this universe and beyond, just to be able to survive. Also in medicine and biotechnology, developing cure for cancer, developing cures for Alzheimer's disease, blindness, deafness, mobility issues. I think we'll see those in the next 50 years, some great strides on those made, in which people's way of life, their quality of life will be dramatically changed. Also in energy. Energy is always going to be a big issue, and developing ways to use energy smarter, other technologies out there to keep energy at the forefront, whether it's nuclear, fusion, whatever the future holds. We're going to have to continually look at energy. Also balancing artificial intelligence with job opportunities. Artificial intelligence is here to stay. It's growing. It's going to expand more than probably any other technology, but people's jobs are going to be displaced by that. And we've got to have a careful balance between AI and job creation for the individual workers. Also, economic opportunities across the board goes hand in hand with some of the AI projects, but also just keeping a workforce out there. Someone's got to do the work, someone's got to pay the bills, and we need economic opportunities to be able to do that. Also, again, take on the responsibility of that global leadership role that the United States of America plays. And being able to have this done responsibly is going to be key to being this global power. The next question is, what does patriotism mean to you in today's world? And to me, it's continuing to support the nation's founding values. And these are liberty, democracy, and individual rights. We have to keep those three items in the forefront. Respecting our nation's symbols. You see this time in, time out, where we have disrespect for the flag. I think we need to have a continual respect and display that for our youth to be able to see, and let us demonstrate that to them about respecting our flag, conducting the Pledge of Allegiance, singing the national anthem, and respecting these symbols of the country that's given us what we have. And then participating in civic life. Go out and vote. You have a right that a lot of people in the world don't have. Go exercise your right to vote. Participate in public service. Volunteer for positions within local government. There's plenty out there. Doing volunteer work, whether it's with a school, whether it's with a local civic or service club. There are just so many people that are not volunteering like they used to. On the keeping informed about public issues is key also. And public issues are going to be something that we need to stay on top of. Read, research before you vote on something. Find out all the implications of it. And then again, public displays of pride in your country. Item 6 here, question 6. Can you share family tradition that honors American history? Obviously, celebrating the 4th of July comes to mind. Cookouts, time with family and friends, enjoying the outdoors, fishing, whatever the case may be, just spending time together. Then also attending here locally, we have a fireworks display. It's been going on for a number of years. It's a public display, and helping with that, and then also enjoying that with family and friends. Then my family and I, we take road trips across the United States, and we always include seeing historical sites in this nation. We didn't know where we came from to know how we got there. And so we've taken the Freedom Road trip in Boston. We've been all over the United States, and every road trip we take, we include some historical facts, tours of the Capitol, U.S. Capitol, state Capitol, other states' capitals, just to have a clear understanding and appreciation, I think a better appreciation of where we are. And then the next question is, what historical figure do you admire most and why? And George Washington is at the top of my list. This individual held an army of basically farmers and workers, the Minutemen, if you will, held them together in trying times. Had very limited supplies, some didn't get paid, freezing temperatures, some went barefoot, and they were fighting for their freedom, the freedoms we enjoy and the freedoms we take advantage of and just for granted today. They fought and died for. People literally on the battlefield froze to death. They froze to death just sitting there on the battlefield. And for George Washington to keep those people motivated, there were a number of losses, there were a number of defeats that the Continental Army went through. But he was able to challenge those people, keep them motivated. He led from the front, he didn't lead from the rear. He had, in different battles, he had 4 bullet holes went through his coat. He never was injured. He had horses shot out from under him, but he still kept charging forward. And that was an inspiration to those people to follow him. Without that, we would not have won the War of Independence, the Revolutionary War, and we would not have the Constitution that we enjoy today, and we would not be in the country we are today had they lost that war. So he kept that army together. He made the American Revolution and American independence possible. He refused absolute power. After the War of the Independence, there were a lot of people in the military who wanted him to become king. They wanted him to become king of the United States. And he said, absolutely not. We're not going to have a monarchy here. The government's going to be run by the citizens, not by a military person. And so he turned down that. He literally went home after the war and retired. He was brought out of retirement when they decided they'd follow his lead and elect a president. And he became the first president and commander-in-chief. And that move of him not taking the military responsibility and turning it into a civilian effort was one of the most precedent-setting things in history. Regardless of time, how far you want to go back in time, that was one of the most precedent-setting things ever, to turn down that kind of power and give it back to the people. And that's why our country is the way it is today. So he was a leader in that. He also established traditions that we still have today with the presidency of the United States. He established a cabinet, the first cabinet, and he expressed to the cabinet members what he expected of them to be able to carry forth the ideals and goals that he had envisioned for the country. He also set the precedent of a 2-term limit for a president. He also was for a peaceful transfer of power. With the exception of Franklin Delano Roosevelt in World War II, all the presidents have served for a 2-term limit. His was an exception, and then there was a constitutional amendment after World War II that made it into a law that a 2-term limit for a president was in place. George Washington also was a symbol of unity for this country. He, in his stature, in his character, in the way he presented himself to the Continental Congress, to the military, to the people that he served, just really set the tone for all the presidents to come behind him. The last question here is, how do you serve your community? And I have really enjoyed my community. I love my community here in Pittsburg. I'm actually related to the founders of Pittsburg, and I'm a fifth generation citizen and resident here. I've been really fortunate. I was born here, raised here, educated here, and was able to work my entire career here in Pittsburg. I've been on the Pittsburg Fire Department as a volunteer for almost 60 years, and I served as 32 of those years as fire chief. Implemented the first certified training program for our volunteers and career staff, and then also instituted an incident management system for our department that we still operate under today. My father and I built 8 fire trucks for the city, and we donated all our time and labor to building those trucks, and we gave them to the city, and they served the city and the county. I co-founded Camp County EMS, which at the time was Camp County Ambulance Service Incorporated, and served as the first volunteer for it. I made actually the first ambulance run of Camp County EMS right after we founded it. I served as Camp County's fire marshal and emergency management coordinator for 30 years, and I took no pay for that. And I developed the county's first emergency management plan. Donated all my time for many, many years, doing all the wiring for warning lights, sirens, radio equipment for all the Camp County Sheriff's Office vehicles, all the Pittsburg Fire Department vehicles, some City of Pittsburg Police Department vehicles, and Camp County EMS ambulances. I served on the City Council for 5 years, and I'm in my 7th year as mayor. And under this time, I have been able to get our infrastructure up dramatically. We have redundancy now on a lot of our critical infrastructure, and very, very proud of that. And then we've enhanced greatly our emergency management capability. I serve on the Pittsburg Economic Development Corporation. I'm chair of the University of Texas Health System Hospital in Pittsburg, and I've been in that chair role since 2018. I'm also on the executive committee of the Northeast Texas Rural Heritage Museum. I've served as president and chair of that organization. For over 30 years, I've served as a reserve deputy sheriff for the Camp County Sheriff's Department, and I've tried to really spread the word of the history of Pittsburg, and wherever someone's willing to sit still and listen to some of the history of our great, rich history here in Pittsburg. And I've tried to capture some of that, so I've written the history of the Pittsburg Fire Department, Camp County EMS, the Methodist Church, Pittsburg Methodist Church Sanctuaries, the Northeast Texas Rural Heritage Museum, and I'm working on the history of the Northeast Texas Fair. And with that, I appreciate the opportunity to be here and speak to you. And again, happy birthday, America, for your 250th year, and hopefully have many more to come.